Welcome everyone to the inaugural episode of Mukkapod. It's the weekly podcast covering everything in the realm of fandoms and geek culture. I am one of your hosts, Jay, and with me is Jord.
That's me.
How are you, Jord? You alright, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. How's it going?
It's all good, mate. It's going well, So, Jord, we've been trying to start a podcast for quite a while, and this is our first crack at it. So, let's have a go at it. For those of you who aren't familiar with the terminology, Mukka is described here by user Brogan of the Urban Dictionary on February 27th, 2010, as meaning very good friends, and he does us the honour of using it in a sentence. Hey Mukka, open brackets, or in MSN name, I love my muckers. There you go. So we're mates, say we, George.
It's a bit black country, isn't it?
It's a little bit black country. I think
like
that's
us.
what offers our because it's kind of like, why would you listen to this podcast when the market of geek podcasts is so oversaturated?
Because Jay's here. That's why.
Exactly. I believe that there's not many black country podcasters out there.
It's probably
know
not.
what I mean?
I don't listen to any.
Absolutely. We should probably clarify as well, because not everybody's going to know where the black
I
country is.
Yeah.
That is the district just outside of Birmingham, consisting of Wednesbury and Dudley and Wolverhampton, where me and Jord hail from. So
nasty areas that you don't want to visit.
no, absolutely, not a lot of regional pride. But no, that is what makes us a cut above the rest, I reckon, Jord, because it's not only is it a podcast, but it's a cultural experience.
You know what? That's if we need a tagline.
Not just a podcast, but a cultural experience. All right, so let's rip into it then. I got some stuff.
Yeah,
I got some stuff to talk about, Jord.
Sort of format-wise, we're gonna talk about some news and then talk about some stuff and that we've been doing, reading, watching, all of that rubbish. The general stuff you'd expect from a podcast a bit like this. If you've seen one, you've seen them all, haven't you, really? And then
Absolutely.
And then we'll sort of devolve into just talking absolute rubbish.
Yep. We both watched WandaVision this week.
Yes.
So I think that's going to be the main crux of this episode, which I'm excited to talk about.
Is that the title as well? We both watched WandaVision this week.
We watched WandaVision.
Yeah.
WandaVision Vision. Okay, so there was some stuff in the news this week that you're a little bit more well versed in than I am.
I know.
But I've been following it as well because I think it's been absolutely beautiful to watch. Now, there's not much more that we can add to this conversation, so we'll touch on it very briefly. But basically, a group of disgruntled individuals on Reddit decided to stick it to big business and invested quite heavily in our beloved GameStop, turning it into pretty much a Fortune 500 company and bankrupting or near bankrupting billionaire hedge fund managers in the process.
I know, you just got to feel sorry for them, haven't you?
I really don't. I really don't, mate. You know what I mean? It's such a beautiful display of people power for me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, I think what you said, it's a little bit. I don't think it's right on the money, because it's the community that started to do it. Was Wall Street Bets, the subreddit, and I mean one guy in particular, deep F-word value. Have we decided if we're going to swear? I don't think we have, so I'll put it off for now.
I think that the YouTube's being quite stringent at the moment, isn't it?
I was going to bleep it anyway, I think.
Yeah. So it's you know me, I've got no filter for it. So if it does come out, but I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try not to. Also, the C word in terms of what's going on at the moment, the CVID.
Yes,
dying. That can get you demonetized as well. So if we talk about the C word, we'll say the C word. Yeah.
Okay.
So no, carry on. Yeah. So Wall Street Bets.
Yeah, basically, and there's this one guy. Sorry, I'll bleep it. Deep fucking value is his username, and
why
he noticed. I think it was about 2 months ago now that. Like like a lot of what are they called? The Wall Street dickheads, basically.
Oh, there's the
Yeah,
stockbrokers,
those ones.
stockbrokers.
They were shorting GameStop in order to make their own bunch of money. So the way I believe it is, this guy on Reddit basically pointed out what they were doing, and everyone jumped in and bought the stocks before they could, while they were extremely low. They've gone up, and yeah, people on Reddit are reaping the rewards instead of Wall Street. So
That's brilliant.
it's good, isn't
That
it?
is absolutely brilliant. Yeah. See, I don't know nothing. I know nothing about the stock market, so I had to proper have it dumbed down for me. And Elon Musk got involved in this, and he tweeted out in layman's terms. Basically, if an ape has got 5 bananas and somebody comes along and says, I'll buy these bananas off you, and then sells them on for their sort of like maximum price, and then somebody else notices what this guy's doing with the bananas and buys them as well, so that they have to then sell it at a more expensive price. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I had to have it explained for me. So God bless Elon Musk for tweeting that out. I'm not sure how all this is going to end up, or if it's going to go anywhere. But I love that it's happened. What I don't love is the NASDAQ and sort of like the owners of these apps like Robinhood that were being used kind of getting involved and noticing what was happening and blocking people from buying more stock, because these people, these hedge fund people that make that's a lovely technical term, is it? Hedge fund people. I'm really showing my university education. I'm not going to edit myself. We don't edit ourselves on this podcast.
No,
the hedge fund people are allowed to make their billions, and they've been abusing this system for as long as there has been a stock market.
And that's basically
the very second that regular people start making a little bit of cash off the back of it, they're like, no,
that's not
this
allowed.
isn't fair.
No, it's not. It's just like,
do you want a free market or not? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's seen the memes, aren't they? I'll stick some on screen, but it's just like billionaires. Oh, if you invested your money smartly, you too could become rich. And it's just like, oh, okay. And then it's like, you weren't supposed to.
Not
do
like
that.
No.
No, what you did.
Not like that. No, I love it as well, and it could mean good news for sort of like political causes as well, because there's a lot of kind of right-leaning politicians that have made their fortune off the back of hedge funds. Do you know what I mean? So if this then bleeds,
Jamie,
I know I'm not gonna go too far into it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go too much into it. I'm not saying that I would. But think about it.
Yep, I thought about it. Okay, let's move on.
Absolutely, but no, good display of people power.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not such a good time for billionaires this week. What a time to be alive.
70 billion losses, I believe.
Isn't there a few companies that have had to go into liquidation as well? Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? Oh no.
Yeah.
However, will they
Oh
back?
no.
Okay.
We're coming for you next, Jeff Bezos. Right.
No, we're not. I rely on Amazon. I don't like it, but I do. I get everything.
We all do, don't we? We all
Be
do.
wary if not. Okay.
Right, Giant Lizard versus Big Monkey. The first trailer for Godzilla versus Kong dropped on the weekend this past week. Dropped on the internet this past week. Finally, it was meant to come out last year, and obviously because of everything that was going on, it didn't. And now
what's going
on? Well, we're all inside, mate. The world, the outside world doesn't exist anymore. We ain't allowed to go there.
Speak for yourself.
Have you been?
We won't get into it.
When was the last time you went to the cinema, Jord?
Ooh. Can't even remember. We probably with you.
Was it with me?
Probably. It's been a while.
I took my son to see Sonic the Hedgehog in February last year, and that was the last time.
You lucky bugger.
That was the last time, and that was like right at the start of it. Do you know what I mean? We were hand sanitizing on the way in. It was about to go down. Do you know what I mean? But because of everything that's been going on, and because they sort of releasing two streaming services has been kind of uncharted territory up until now. but they've decided now to pull the trigger on it. It's the first kind of blockbuster trailer that I've seen for a while, and I used to live for this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So,
Especially big monsters.
no, especially big monsters. Go on then, George. As somebody who gives not a shit about giant monster movies or any of this MonsterVerse stuff, what did you think of the trailer?
What did I think of the trailer? I think that some of the action looked great. Looked really, really, really good. And then there's just this little girl in it for no reason. That's what it seems like to me. And I don't understand why they have to keep putting like human interest stories at the centre of these ginormous CGI blockbusters when that's what people want to see, innit? People, if I wanted to see a human interest story, I wouldn't be going to see King Kong versus Godzilla. It's just
Jord.
It's Charlie
Jord,
Day
mate.
in this one as well.
Different universe.
Right.
Yeah, but Jord, it's Godzilla.
Yeah, I know you won't. I mean, it could be the worst film ever, but you're going to go watch it and you're going to come out and tell me it was the best thing since sliced bread. But,
I am, mate. I am. I love this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? I've had a long-standing love of Godzilla and King Kong. Really, both of their original movies and also their various remakes. I kind of get a little bit twitchy being so far in the camp of a Godzilla fan, and it looks from this trailer, it looks as though Kong is the protagonist, as it were.
Yeah.
And Godzilla's kind of on the back foot, more of an antagonist. You know what I mean? He takes that punch like a champ, but I still don't like seeing my boy getting punched in the face. Do you know what I mean? No, which is a bit weird for me because, like, obviously, Godzilla is arguably way more popular than King Kong. Would you agree as a franchise?
No.
Really?
I'd say they're pretty on even footing.
Even keel, you reckon?
Yeah. I think in more recent times, but you got to look at King Kong. But he's had more films. But I think name recognition, they both hold the same sort of weight.
Yeah, I mean, like, absolutely, Godzilla's got more media attached to him, I think, which is kind of where I was coming from, and also 2 films in this franchise where King Kong's only had one standalone. So it's weird to me that they would make Godzilla the kind of the losing side of this, as it were. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because the director of this, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's come out and said that there will be a definitive winner. It's not going to be an ambiguous kind of thing, and even the tagline is like one will fall. So, and I'm kind of hoping that it's not going to be Godzilla who sort of takes the fall here, because they've already done some size manipulation to make King Kong much bigger than he was in Kong Skull Island.
I'm glad you said that, because when I was watching it, I was thinking, okay, they shouldn't be the same size, should they now?
Well, they went out of their way to explain,
towering over King Kong.
They went out of their way to explain in King Kong that it's in Kong Skull Island. Sorry, that Kong wasn't at all fully grown. He was adolescent, so that they set the seeds there for him to grow. But there seems to be some size discrepancy in almost every single frame of King of the Monsters as well. Do you know what I mean? Like the thing about the very first one,
it's
the
like
2000.
watching Hagrid in the Harry Potter films. You know, he's meant to be massive, right? But sometimes he's about a foot taller than everyone else, and sometimes they'll all run up and hug him, and they're like at his knees, and it's just.
I love going off on a tiny tangent. I'll come straight back to Godzilla. I promise I'm not going to go off on a tangent, but I love that first handful of Harry Potter films in 4K HD, because you could just, when they're using like a full body shot of Hagrid, and it's just very clearly not Robbie Coltrane, and it's just this really tall fella with like prosthetics on his face. Go back and watch it, man. It's hilarious. But no, I was going to make a good point. The thing about the very first one, the 2014 Godzilla, Gareth Edwards had a great sense of scale, and that was one of the main things that I loved about that first Godzilla film, because it was like, or even when the monsters were like kicking the shit out of each other at the end, every kind of camera angle was an angle that you could have realistically captured if you were on the ground that day. Like, whether it's from an apartment building or from street level,
okay.
it was always from a person's eye. Whereas I'm pretty sure there's a shot in the first Godzilla where his foot's the size of an entire 747 jet, and now he's just standing on the back of an aircraft carrier. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
it's like the artists, the CGI artists, have like emailed over, how big is Godzilla, and the producers have just emailed back, yes.
Yeah, big.
Big.
Bigger than a truck. So,
Yeah. How do you feel about it coming to streaming? What do you think that's going to be
I know
for the industry?
there's been a lot of upset and opinions on this that you can go and find, and I don't have any. I think it's.
Yeah,
I think a lot
really?
of people say, "Oh, it's killing cinema." It's just like, well, no, shut up. Cinema's not the only thing that's been harmed throughout all of this, and it's just another side of the market learning to adapt. I think fair play to them. Are you vaping?
I am, yeah.
Oh, Jay, no.
Oh, am I not allowed?
I've got to isolate that and get rid of it.
Oh shit! Sorry, man. Sorry. Only a little bit. Only a little
All
bit.
right.
No. Yeah. The weird thing about this coming to streaming is that Warner Brothers didn't know about it until they saw it online. That's.
Right.
Seriously,
Okay.
seriously, that the first that they knew about it is when it was announced. That's kind of like if you broke up with your partner and then saw, you know, my girlfriend is single on Facebook before they told you about it. You know, it's like, oh, because like they were always going to take this to streaming, but they were bidding with other streaming platforms like Amazon and Netflix. So the good thing about this is like these guys have now gone to Warner Brothers a bit like, yo, we paid for this, and they're getting us kind of like a settlement from Warner Brothers, is my understanding, that sort of
Right.
pays the cost of what they could have made from another streaming platform. But Christopher Nolan's another one who's just not happy about this,
No,
like because
but I mean,
they were. Go on, sorry.
oh, I sort of make good films, go for it, but there's a lot of these high-profile directors that just have these just bad opinions on things, and for some reason that's worth their salt, because it's the same as like, oh, ex-footballer says why, and who gives a shit?
No,
I don't
absolutely,
care. Just
absolutely.
what
That's
if
like,
if Christopher Nolan was to turn around and said this is affecting my ability to make new films, I think he'd have a valid point and stuff like. But he's not. Nothing.
no,
Christopher Nolan's
no.
going to be able
He's
to
just got
make
his
films
ass.
no matter what, and he's going to make a lot of money no matter what. The film's still going to look the same.
Doesn't matter where they come out,
No,
and it's
it
still probably going to
doesn't.
have the same amount of return. I think it's more the principle of it for Nolan, but like you know, he's a very hoity-toity, kind of disappeared up his own arse
Yeah.
a little bit. Nolan did. I haven't enjoyed a film of his since Inception. To be honest with you,
Oh, I didn't
he's
even
very.
enjoy Inception, if I'm perfectly
Oh,
honest.
he's just a very. He's like Martin Scorsese. Like they both make really good films, but they're kind of also like, look how important my film is
Yeah, it's just a
compared
film.
to the rest of what you
I
like. It's
know.
like, shut up, man. You can't make those sweeping statements over something so subjective like cinema.
So
Do you know
I'll
what
have
I mean? So,
bodyguards at my next film, stopping anyone that's seen a Marvel film from coming in. I'm not
yeah.
having it.
We don't like those fucking Marvel fans,
No,
do
we
we?
don't.
Like, scum of the earth.
Right.
Anyway, in Marvel news.
Yeah, Marvel news.
Um, no, yeah, but yeah. Will you be checking out Godzilla versus King Kong?
No,
No.
no. Okay. If you
You
finish
will.
it,
I'm gonna
right,
make
you
you. I'm
will.
gonna make you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Maybe
make you
this,
for the
maybe
for the
this.
podcast.
Um,
Yeah.
If you come out and say to me that you think I'll like it, I'll give it a try. But you know how much I hated Pacific Rim, and you know how much I don't care about all of that sort of stuff. I like a good CGI monster fight as much as the next person. You know, I love two
Did you
pieces
see-
of computer animation just fucking going at it.
No, yeah, this is going to be a recurring segment. I'll text you about this in the week, and it's like the ongoing saga of Jord not giving a fuck about giant monster
don't.
movies, and Jay trying to convince him that they're the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
Did you not see King of the Monsters?
No.
Nah, good film, man.
Just not. I'm just not interested.
A lot of people slept on that, man. It's got fucking Charles Dance in it from Game of Thrones. It's got Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things.
Well, I'm sure they got paid well for it. Let's move on.
They did. They did. I always sit through the credits, not only because I'm conditioned, because of so many Marvel post-credit scenes, but I always sit through the credits because I like to see how many people got paid, because it's a good thing. It's a good thing to get your paycheck at the end of the week and go get a bagel or something. Do you know what I mean?
Like, I mean, sure. If you move like that, I ain't.
I'm just happy that people got paid.
Okay, yeah, but the thing is, like, I get people paid at work, and I'll tell you what.
Right.
Like,
so it's kind of kill. It's like
none of them know it was me. Do they? It's just like I get a job, I do a job, and I get paid for it too. But I don't. Every time I send out a payment to someone, it doesn't have my name in the reference on their bank account, does it?
Courtesy of Jord XOXO.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, nice.
Right.
Let's move on to Tobey Maguire being a knob, shall we?
No, absolutely. So this comes from epicstream.com, so take it with a grain of salt. Do you know what I mean? Until Kevin Feige or someone from Marvel comes out and confirms any of the Spider-Man 3 stuff, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, until you see him in the back of a Tom Holland Instagram photo or something like that.
Yeah. There was a set photo from the other day that showed somebody in mocap suits, but I try and stay away from set photos.
Wow,
because I've had
mocap suits in a Marvel film?
I know.
Wow.
Who could it be? What does it mean? So it's been long rumoured that Spider-Man 3 will feature not one, not two, but three Spider-Men in what could only be described as a live-action Spider-Verse film. So allegedly, and the rumour goes, is that they're trying to get not only Tom Holland, but also Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire to appear in the project, but despite reports saying that Garfield has kind of already signed on, there's rumours out there that Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro, Alfred Molina's returning as Doc Ock, Emma Stone.
Yeah, I tell you what, if you can think of an actor that's been somewhat tied to Spider-Man in the past 30 years, there's an article out there saying that they're going to be in Spider-Man 3.
Oh, can we please get Mr. Dickovich, the Rent guy, back? That's all I want. Oh, the Rent guy?
Oh, the Rent. I thought you said Red guy. I was just trying to think.
You promise me with crackers and my daughter will be fat. If you want a woman, you say, "I am good woman. You are good man."
Okay, yeah. Sorry, just an apology for anyone from here on out that has an accent that Jamie impersonates. I think they're great personally. But you might take offence. So,
I love accents. I could do them all day. Yeah. Right, so as much as they're trying to get all these actors on board with this Spider-Man 3, the glitch in the system appears to be Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's likely that they're going down some sort of route like this. It just seems to multiverses just seem to be the natural progression for the MCU at this point.
Yep.
And you've had people sort of naming the next sort of saga, the multiverse saga, and stuff like that, like just in a fan capacity. Excuse me. But
like you say, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, especially with what we're going to go on to talk about later, and also Doctor Strange 2 is the subtitle, The Multiverse of Madness. Mm-hmm. We need to find a way to bring in the X-Men and the Fantastic Four now and explain where the fuck they were. Do you know what I mean? So
where are we at? And I mean, how long have we been going?
24 minutes.
All right, we need to shortly sod off the rest of this news apparently because we're being too slow, and jump into WandaVision and the like. But just before we get there, I mean, I've completely forgot what I was going to say now. I did the intro to what I was going to say that was too long.
Right, okay.
I think it was something. You go. You're
right there, Jordan.
Yeah, I've lost it.
You You having a
I
stroke?
was listening to what you were saying, and then I was formulating like, I'm gonna say something. I have an opinion on this, right? And it just, as soon as I opened my mouth, it stopped, and I could only riff for so long.
No, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Right. So, Tobey Maguire is being a tosser. And
He's always
according
been
to
a tosser. But yeah,
according to a Patreon scoop from tipster Daniel Richman, the studio is absolutely furious over Maguire's behaviour. Quoted as saying, "Marvel is angry with Tobey Maguire for acting like a diva over Spider-Man 3. Tobey keeps acting like a diva and it pisses Marvel off." The unnamed source told Richman that Maguire has been dragged into several controversies surrounding his attitude problem. And according to everything that you were saying the other week, like the gossips, he is actually quite difficult to work with, so that's why he's not in many projects these days. Would the Spider-Verse, live action Spider-Verse, we'll call it that, Spider-Man 3, work without him?
yes.
You think
Yes.
even if Garfield was there, would it not feel like something was missing?
I feel like it would. Yeah, I think it would, but I have a different opinion to you. I don't really like the bloke.
I'm not a huge fan of him. Just those three movies hold a special place in my heart.
That's absolutely same. But I don't think he was the best part of those films by far.
If anything, he was probably one of the worst parts.
Absolutely, he just didn't fit the role. That's my opinion. Everyone's going to have a different opinion to that, I'm sure.
No, yeah, but I would love to see the first 3 live-action Spider-Men on screen together, especially if they did like a cool entrance for him and the old Danny Elfman score kicked in. That would be great for the little fanboy in me. But on the same score, I don't think if somebody is acting like this and demanding X amount of money and getting drunk on their own sense of self-importance, I don't think you then roll up a golden dump truck full of money for him.
And I think that'll be what bothers me the most, is if he is in it and they've paid him all this money, and then all of the fans are like, "Wow, he was amazing. We want him back for all of these extra films." And just like, he doesn't really deserve it if this is accurate.
No, yeah, absolutely. Again, it's all conjecture. It's all allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
So we do need to take it with a grain of salt. But you are absolutely right. I think that at this stage you need Marvel. Marvel doesn't need you.
Absolutely.
So pack it in. But I hope they can sort something out. I really do. So because it would just be amazing to see. So
should we talk some Eternals?
Yes, let's talk.
Okay,
Eternals.
so I haven't looked into this. So you're going to tell me.
I am indeed.
Super
there
reputable
is
news site wegotThiscovered.com.
No, this is comicbookmovie.com. So they tend to be.
No, not the Thanos cameo.
No, I'm talking about the leak promo arts from Comic Book Movie.
Oh, well, sorry.
That's where I'm looking at it.
You've skipped ahead.
Oh, you would talk about the Thanos cameo.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, like George just said, we got this covered. Again, take it with a grain of salt. But there has been rumblings of Eternals featuring Thanos. Now, I don't know how they're going to play that, because I don't know enough really about the Eternals to know what they're going to do with this film. Is it going to be a prequel a la Captain Marvel and Thanos is going to be in that capacity? Is it going to be an alternate timeline? Because there are still timelines out there as established by Endgame where there could be a Thanos, as you were.
Yeah, but that's boring though, isn't it?
Or is it going to be a reincarnation of Thanos? Are we going to get...
Also boring. No,
are we going to get Baby Yoda the Thanos? Baby Groot the Thanos?
Baby Thanos, yeah. No, I don't I think if anything, he'll be used to maybe show their power level. It'll be some flashback, some interaction they've had. Everyone comes off a bit screwed over to show that they're on some sort of equal footing, or maybe... To Thanos. I don't think it's going to be much more than that, if it is anything. I just think it's too soon. If you're 15 years down the line, sure, bring him back for a film.
Yeah.
We've just had 10 years of Thanos is coming, mate. Thanos. He's coming, eh? He's coming. Look at this.
He's coming,
in the Guardians. He's sat there on a chair. Is he purple? Is he red? Who fucking knows, right?
Who cares? Like, he's just sat on that chair.
He is.
Do you know
and
what
he's
I mean?
on that chair. And you know what? Out of the physics of that bloody chair. Oh my god, they keep me up at night. But never mind.
No.
But not. It's too soon. We've just had all of that. It's too soon. So let's.
I don't dislike your idea there of it sort of being to show the power level of these celestial beings.
I don't think it'd be anything more
the
than
Eternals
5 minutes,
versus Thanos or something like that. So, yeah.
Okay. The art. I've got a picture of the Power Rangers up in front of me.
This is bad.
And the Frost, third from the left.
Yeah. So this appears to be a piece of merch from the upcoming. It looks like a clothing line for the Eternals.
Black label, maybe.
Yeah, Rob Stark in the middle there as well. I don't know. And there's a little kid there on the far right. Angelina Jolie. There. What do we take away from this, Jord? Like,
the CGI wasn't finished when they made that label, I think, is what we take away. They don't look good. Or they've just stuck it in Photoshop and stuck some layers. Who knows? It's really not. I'm just zooming in with my actual head. It looks like
it's a big cast of characters, man.
Oh, it's a cast and a half. Absolutely.
I don't know anything about the Eternals, man. But I've got an open mind because I didn't know anything about the Guardians of the Galaxy either in 2014, and now I love them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. I mean, at the time, I knew a bit about the Guardians, but when it was announced, I was like, right, I'm going to read into all of this. So like, right, I love the MCU, mate. I'm going to find out everything there is to know about Guardians before it comes out. I'm sort of over that now. I'm ready for the surprise of it all, and I don't know who any of these characters are. I don't want to go in and read the comics and see, the 1/4 from the left, they actually turn out to be a bad guy in the comics, because guess what? There'll be a bad guy in the film if that was true. It's just how it works, isn't it? Because you've got to be faithful.
I think Angelina Jolie, the Emma Frost looking woman, I believe she's the antagonist, but I don't know that for definite.
I mean,
and I'm guessing
actress for that sort of role, I guess.
I don't know. It depends on how she plays it, man. I've never enjoyed Angelina Jolie in anything really. Do you know what I mean? Like, potentially Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but that's about it. But
it's a good film, but poor Jennifer Aniston, mate. Poor Jennifer Aniston.
Rip.
Yeah.
No, yeah. You said something when we were prepping for this. You said that you were getting Inhumans vibes from it, and I agree, and that's not a good thing.
No,
it reminds me.
not.
It reminds me very much of that first promo image we got of the Inhumans, like, or even down to the way that they're laid out, the costumes, and I don't know, but Marvel. There's very few Marvel films that are bad films. There are some that are not as good as others, but I don't think there's any Marvel film where I've watched it and been like, that was terrible.
Except
do you know what
Thor
I mean?
2.
So, say again.
Except for Thor 2.
Tom Hiddleston saves that movie for me.
Oh, no, it's just bad. But, conversation for another day, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But no, keeping an open mind, but this is not a good... If you were going to have an image leak, this is not a good...
No.
It's not a good.
It's not a good.
Not a good.
Let's move on, because we're halfway through, and we have not...
Whoa,
we're about a quarter way through the news, so let's jump ahead. What are you thinking?
Vicarious Visions?
Yeah, I don't really have much to say on this, so it's up to you, really.
No, yeah, I just...
Just the joke I already made before we started recording about their most important contribution being the Game Boy Advance Crash game. That's it.
Yeah, notable developer of various Crash Bandicoot handheld games, and also the people responsible for his revival in the Insane trilogy, Vicarious Visions. Obviously being a subdivision of Activision, they'll no longer be making their own games and will be just working under, sort of merged into Blizzard Interactive, which I thought would interest yourself. Obviously, being a big Warcraft guy.
Because I, as you know, big fan of Blizzard games. Not going to say big fan of Blizzard because they've done some shady things in the past couple of years, but it was something they laid off a ridiculous number of staff not too long ago. So this seems it seems a bit unusual to me. We got rid of 600 people to then absorb another company. I don't know. It's
maybe that's how they've offset
doing shady things, isn't it? Really?
Maybe that's how they've offset their losses. Do you know what I mean? That maybe that's how they've kind
of losses they make bank. I mean,
no, but you need people.
We fired people that cost $40,000 a year. That'll save us. We turned over $5 billion last quarter, and it's just like, well, it's not right, is it?
Maybe there's some sort of chart in their head office that's like, well, we can save X amount of money a year by letting these people go and absorbing this other division. It's a real shame, man, because like we'll never see another Vicarious Visions developed game, and especially the Crash games, because they had a lot of reverence for the old series. Helped out quite a lot with Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled as well, even though that was mainly developed by Beanox.
Good game,
and it very good game. They've all been good games, and I'm not too upset because I think that the Crash Bandicoot franchise is in good hands, having recently pretty much knocked myself out completing Crash Bandicoot 4. I think it's in quite good hands
because it's still not out on Switch.
Oh, Jord. Oh, tears, real tears, friends. Tears. No, yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. It's a shame, and I'll just say thanks to Vicarious Visions, for sort of bringing back this pillar of my childhood back into public consciousness. That it's been
thank you for letting me take Crash in the back seat of my car when I was a kid. That's about it.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, we've got a couple of things we can talk about. We can talk about the Potter live action TV show. I haven't read that, and it was going to happen at some point anyway, wasn't it? So
yeah, the live action Harry Potter thing is that HBO Max is reportedly in talks with potential writers, but they deny that anything's actually in the works. But that could just mean that no one's attached to that project as of yet. So it's really a kind of, is it? Maybe, we don't know. But the concept of it in general, I'm on board with.
Watch it. I mean, Harry Potter was a huge part of my childhood until J.K. Rowling did a thing on Twitter. But
that's the only stipulation.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to really enjoy when this comes out, watching it, and rating the actors and the writing and everyone involved, and making sure that I pirate it so not a penny goes to J.K. Rowling.
I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I already said to my partner, who's very excited for that open world Harry Potter game that's coming out 2022. You know the one I'm talking about, the Wizarding World. It's like an open world kind of Hogwarts game. It's Wizarding World Hogwarts Unleashed or something like that. I don't have the title off the top of my head. I do apologise. I'm not an encyclopedia. I do apologise. It's like Hogwarts Unlimited or something like that. But I've already said that we're going to wait for that to appear on a Facebook Marketplace or CEX so that we can play it. And J.K. Rowling is not getting any of our money. She's got too much power and influence to be going on about what she's going on about.
She's got enough money as well.
I'm not even going to get into it, to be honest with you, mate.
Calm down. Let's move on.
Absolutely. But in concept, yes, that's a good deal. There's a lot of stuff that's in the books of Harry Potter that wasn't touched on by the film series. So there's a world there rife for digging into. There's a lot of ways you could go with a live action Harry Potter TV series, whether it's a completely new story or whether it's based on sort of the stage show, which is kind of a continuation.
Or sod off Hogwarts, sod off Harry Potter and his family and the Weasleys and all of this. It's a very interesting world that they could do literally anything else with. I see you fucking vaping. Now I've got to bleep that and remove your audio at the same time. Right, let's Ray Fisher will still do press for Snyder Cut.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's been very outspoken in recent months
Rightly so.
about
May I add?
absolutely about the treatment that he went uh, that he sorry the treatment that he was given. No, I can't think of the right word. He was treated like shit.
Yeah. Okay.
and he's mad about it.
Yeah,
So no, of course,
absolutely,
but
class act. He's doing his job. He's staying there to do his job. Obviously, we all know what his version of events that went down. We know that they're investigating it, or they've investigated it. All of that rubbish.
Yeah, no one denied it.
No,
Do you know what I mean?
No one expected him to go and do this, but he has. So fair play to him.
No, absolutely, and he seems really gung ho about it. He's put a video up. That's the article I'm looking at, where he's like, "You couldn't stop me. You couldn't stop me doing press for the Snyder Cut." So God bless him. He's still so enthusiastic about it. So a related topic to this as well is that the Snyder Cut is now going to be a 4-hour movie and not 1 hour 4-part series.
They'll change it before it comes out.
Do you reckon?
Oh, the Snyder Cut's now going to be 7 40-minute episodes, and the Snyder Cut's now going to be on Quibi, and it's going to be everything.
Tobey Maguire in talks to reprise his role as Spider-Man in the Snyder Cut.
Absolutely.
What's your thoughts just in general in a line or two about the Snyder Cut? You excited for it, or do you just want to see it? For me, it's like a beautiful car crash. Do you know what I mean? I've got to watch it.
Okay,
do you know what I mean?
I will watch it, but I'm not paying for it because I paid to see Justice League at the cinemas. So
oh god, we both did, didn't we? We went together.
We absolutely did. So I'm not paying for HBO Max, even though we can't get it. If it's on something I already pay for, because I pay for most of the streaming services anyway, I'll watch it on that. But if not, I'm not going to wait. I'll just stick it on Plex. Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They owe me money. I paid to see Justice League.
I remember me and Jord went to see it when it came out, and when the film finished, we sat there in silence. We left the cinema, and it's kind of on a hill, and then like the bus stop where we needed to walk to was down there, and we were walking down this hill. It's about a 5-minute walk, and we were talking about it. And by the time we got to the bus stop, we were both so fucking angry. Never again.
Oh no, never again. I'll tell you what, this is hurting me, so let's move on.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
do you want to talk about
PS5,
or do you want to carry on?
We've only got.
Ooh. Oh, come on. PS5 scalpers are being bastards. The next part is PS5 scalpers are still a thing. There you go.
Yeah,
everyone hates them. They're nasty people. They lure children into vans with promises of PS5s, and then they do some unforeseen things.
They do, mate. But basically, the reason that this is in the news is that the latest stock allocation from Argos, which is a superstore in Britain, was scalped by sniped by these PS5 scalpers before they were even on the website. So they were using some variation of a phishing software. A bot, as it were, to place these orders. So as soon as they were up, they went. So it's gonna be a few months until you can get a PS5 at retail price. Yeah. The problem is though, people, and I'm so sorry, myself included, people are paying these scalpers to get a PS5, so it's kind of a perpetuating cycle.
I'm sorry, I don't understand why people want to pay this much money for a console that doesn't have any games on it yet.
It can run PS4 games, and it's
so good at PS4.
No, but Jord, it can run it at 4K though, mate. Do you know what I mean? But no, I'm scum. I'm the first to admit it. I'm scum. Do you know what I mean?
Because it's a bit different. My eyesight's too bad to tell the difference between 720p and 4K, so I don't care.
I recently invested in upgrading my setup, and I was going to get either a PS4 Pro or a PS5, and I was going to get a PS5 eventually, and I managed to negotiate with the guy and get it for not too much expensive, too much expensive than the retail price. So, but people do need to stop doing it. Do you know what I mean? But having that being said, though, it is going to be a long time before we can get this at retail price.
Maybe
Argos
they get
has
some games on it by then.
yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
maybe.
Argos has responded. Their statement is, it's clear our customers are excited for the new PlayStation. We released a small amount of additional stock and have seen huge numbers of customers trying to place their orders with us, and we have now sold out. So they haven't really addressed the issue of scalpers.
It's not their fault, is it? All they can do is put them up.
Yeah. Well, there's some anonymous Argos staff that have posted on social that managers were aware that there were early sales and those orders were being cancelled. But obviously some have made it through the net there. No, it's totally not their fault.
Whatever measure gets put in place to stop scalpers, they'll avoid it. They'll use VPNs, they'll use PO boxes, whatever they need to do. They'll get around it. It's just part of life, unfortunately. If you want the thing, pre-order
you've got to
it.
deal with it.
If you don't get to pre-order it, tough. Wait.
Right, the last bit that I want to cover, the last little piece of news that I've got on here before we get into WandaVision is a hilarious story. So people are modding Cyberpunk 2077 to bang Keanu Reeves' character, and CD Projekt Red have put out quite a serious statement asking people to pack it in.
Yeah, and just to confirm, that's not bang as in fighting, that's bang as in getting intimate. Yeah,
absolutely. What did they expect? What did they expect to happen? I mean, Keanu Reeves is like the world's most perfect man. I'm not into men.
No,
I'm not into men, not one iota. But if you think that I wouldn't have a night of passion, if Keanu Reeves offered me a night of passion, and you think I'm going to say no, am I fuck?
Yeah,
am I fuck saying no? So
you wouldn't kick him out of bed, would you? I mean,
no.
You wake up and then Keanu Reeves is next to you, like, how's it going?
So basically,
what brings you here?
So basically, how it's working, Jord, is that in the game, in the overworld, there are these NPCs called Joy Toys, which are basically prostitutes, and you can pay them for a night of passion, and it transitions to quite a graphic sex scene. And
right,
people,
so they're swapping the model.
Swapping the model, and then Keanu Reeves' mo-capped character, Johnny Silverhand, is appearing in these sex scenes. But CD Projekt Red, I'll find.
I've got their quote in front of me.
Do you want to read it? Go on, I've been reading all the quotes.
Our most important rule regarding user-generated content, game mods in particular, is that it can't be harmful towards others. In the case of model swaps, especially those that involve explicit situations, it can be perceived as such by the people who lent us their appearance for the purpose of creating characters in Cyberpunk 2077. Therefore, when making fan content, creators have to make sure they've got permission from all of the concerned parties, which might be people other than CG Projekt Red. For the characters we've invented for the game, we broadly permit you to tweak the game at will and just have fun. When it comes to models of real people whom we've asked to participate in the game, we kindly ask you to refrain from using them in any situation that might be found offensive, if you don't have their explicit permission. See, you know what? I think
that's
Keanu
so
Reeves
serious.
It is. It's so serious. But I think Keanu Reeves would be down.
Do you think so?
I think there's got to be some clip of him in 2 years on Ellen. This gets brought up. Do you know what? And he's going to be like, just the fucking coolest guy in the world, and he's just going to be like, yeah,
exactly. Man. He's the world's most perfect
if that's
man.
what they want to do, and he would not give two shits. I mean,
is that what Keanu Reeves sounds like, George? Your impression that if that's what they want to do,
to you,
that was bad. That was banging.
It was good, spot on, wasn't it? But he's not going to care. No. Personally, I think if it was me, I'd find it funny. You Keanu Reeves, you know that people fantasize over you. It's not news, is it? And
no,
I mean, come on, he must have thought at some point I'm creating this virtual map of my body that's going into a video game that allows modding. Come on, who didn't see
Yeah.
this coming? Who didn't see this coming?
No, absolutely. I don't. Like I said at the top of this, I don't know what they expected. Plus, the thing that sticks out to me here is if you don't have their explicit permission. So all we need to do is email Keanu Reeves
Just
and be
tweet
like,
him, mate.
how's it going,
drop him a
Keanu? Big
tweet.
fan, can I bang you?
Yeah.
That's it, man. That's it. Do you see where they're coming from at any stage? I think it's a bit like.
I think it's weird. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It is weird.
No, it's strange, but
it is strange. I think they're lying about do whatever you want if we invented the person. Also a bit weird. Don't know what they're sort of saying is okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's Keanu Reeves' likeness, but it's not Keanu Reeves. It's Johnny Silverhand. Do you know what I mean? Like, so he isn't invented, and I'm sure this game has got like any likeness is this is a work of fiction. You know that fucking disclaimer that's in the thing. It's a work of fiction. Yeah, any similarity to person living or dead is coincidental. I'd love to know what led to him putting out this proper serious statement. Whether Keanu Reeves' people have been in touch with him.
Maybe his agent. But I don't think because he's not on the socials, is he? As far as I know.
Keanu?
No, he's not.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't think he's on the socials. I think he lives a quiet life. He's an actor, and that's all he really is. He's not a public personality or anything.
I'm not a huge fan of Keanu Reeves as an actor, but I adore him as a person. I think he's great. Like you see him in interviews, and when he came out on stage at E3 to announce his involvement in this game, and he was
just buzzing, wasn't he? He was excited as everyone in the crowd that he was there.
He's like getting in a warm bath. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I'd describe him. Just that sensation of, oh, that's nice. Do you know what I mean? I see Keanu Reeves, I'm like, we're all going to be okay.
Yeah, so I'll be scrolling down Reddit, and I'm like, God, the world's going to hell. Oh, Keanu Reeves, a nice video of Keanu Reeves doing something nice for just a member of the public. How wonderful!
It's Keanu Reeves on the subway.
Something. Keanu Reeves on the subway. Wow. I mean, you've seen that picture a million times, and he offers someone his seat, and all of this. Always, we know, we love him, don't we?
Yeah, everyone we do, and we love him so much that some of us are trying to bang him.
As trying to bang him goes, this is about this. I'm sure this is the way that he prefers.
yeah, rather than a queue of people outside his house. You know? But he's such a good person that again he'd probably be chill with it. Again, 2 years time on Ellen. Remember when you had that queue of people and around your house to bang you? Like, yeah, well.
Yeah, I told him to bugger off, go and play Cyberpunk instead.
Yeah. But yeah, also, it's like you might take the standpoint of you released an unfinished game. We'll bang whoever we want to bang. Don't tell me who to bang.
You fucked us. We're fucking Keanu Reeves. God damn it.
Oh, happy days. What a time to be alive, Jord.
Exactly.
Oh. But no, yeah.
Right.
I've been playing Cyberpunk. It's actually not that bad.
Good. I don't know anything that runs it, so I haven't. And it's also not my sort of game.
Really, the big RPG. Oh no, you're not an RPG guy, are you? Really?
No, I'm just not an RPG guy. In the words of Scott the Was, really not.
But then you love World of Warcraft, so that's strange. But that's different, isn't it?
It is, and also I think if I were to start playing WoW today, I'd be like, this is boring. I don't want to play this. I think it was because it was the time that I played it. I started playing it with friends when I was like 14, 13 or something like that. And I grew up with it a little bit, almost. And these games change when you're playing with your mates. You 10 times more fun to play a game with your friends.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't gravitate towards that myself. I'm more of a single player kind of guy. But I do see what you're saying. Like,
I am now. Now I've got a kid. I don't have the time to sit here every 5 o'clock till 10 o'clock on a weeknight to raid and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Some of these games, like. I was reading quite an interesting article the other day, actually, about people who suffer from anxiety, and even though they enjoy gaming, they can find the prospect of starting a new game to be a trigger. Do you know what I mean? Like overwhelming, and I've never felt that myself, but I get it. Do you know what I mean? Like the idea of having to invest this much time to enjoy a game it can be overwhelming. But luckily, because of this lockdown, I've found time to catch up on some of these games that I've missed over the years, being in a position where I had to commute all the time and I had all this kind of dead time in the week. Do you know what I mean? Like I couldn't do anything because I'm commuted, and now it frees me up, and I'm choosing to use that to catch up.
See, that's why I'm all
catch
about
up
the
with video
Switch,
games.
because I'm one of those people that does have a good old fashioned Switch and the Switch Lite, and I will happily take my Switch Lite on the train every day.
You love your Switch, don't you, mate?
I love it, absolutely love it. It means I can play video games, and my family don't hate me at the same time.
No, absolutely. There is a balance there that you can strike between gaming and having a positive family life. Luckily, I mean, we're both dads here. It's like this could easily be the dad podcast. Just a couple of dads being dads, and like when the podcast is over, we'll just go and rest our eyes for 5 minutes because we're dads. Do you know what I mean? But I'm lucky enough that my son's at that age where he enjoys games as well. So my social time with him being in lockdown at the moment is to jump on and play a game of Overwatch, play a game of Doom, play a game of Apex Legends or something like that. And he's on chat, and I'm there with him for 2-3 hours, and we're chatting and having a laugh and whatever, and just bonding, lovely. And we're both gaming. So it's nice.
My equivalent to that is sat on the sofa with my 3-year-old daughter, telling her what the B button is every 5 minutes when the Paw Patrol game tells her that that's what you need to jump. True story.
What kind of game uses the B button to jump?
Paw Patrol.
Or is the you're on the Switch? You Switch, aren't you? So yeah. I was thinking Xbox. You know, it's kind of like where the circle would be.
Get out of here.
That's your jump button, really?
I respect myself more than that. I don't own an Xbox.
I'm having fun, Jord. I'm not going to lie to you. This is great. This is.
Oh,
I'm glad that we're doing it. I'm glad that we're doing it.
Shall we talk about WandaVision?
Let's talk about WandaVision. Before we jump into that, I will remind people that this is like the very first episode of what we're doing, and we would absolutely adore it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube, because the sooner we get the more subscribers, the sooner we can make this way more consistent and put a bit more production value into it. I'm sure you've noticed this.
I'd love to get Jamie a camera.
This isn't the ideal setup. But I hope that the content behind it is enjoyable enough that you'll consider hitting that subscribe button.
Yeah, I think we'll iron out some of the bugs, won't we?
No, absolutely. We'll iron out some of the kinks. You know what I mean? I'm sure everybody's first podcast is shit. So I think that
you just got to hit the record button, and you only get practice by doing it, don't you? So right, Long Division.
Long Division.
I stole that from Mr. Sunday.
We're not using that, then we'll get sued. I've only just, this shows how self-involved I am. I've only just noticed Yoda chilling on the fucking couch behind you.
I put him there on purpose.
How's it going, man?
Exactly. I thought, because I mean, you can't. This won't come off in the podcast, but all of my great geek stuff is right in front of me. Same.
I've got like an occult
massive bookshelves. I've got a telly on each of them. I've got shelves. I've got all of my old game consoles, everything. But there's nothing behind me. So I thought, that'd be good.
Yeah, I've got almost like an occult fucking altar there with a Salt Rock Campbell and a Batman statue and the skull of my enemies that I use as a jewellery box.
Fair enough, a jewellery box.
Yeah. WandaVision, mate.
WandaVision.
So can I just say that it has been too long since I have seen that logo sequence on the front of anything.
I was sat there, I was just like, hey, look, they've put that in it.
They've put that in it.
And Kate's just sat there like, it's a logo, innit?
You see, Kira was right there with me. She was like, it's been too long.
That's good.
So they've changed it a little bit as well. There's new. It represents the newer Avengers and less so the old guard. The graphics that they put in the Marvel letters. I don't know if you noticed that.
Why is Gamora so prominent in it?
We won't know until Guardians Volume 3, mate.
That's just something I picked up on. I just thought there's a lot of Gamora there.
Yeah. We don't know.
Maybe we wouldn't see her for a few films or something.
I get the feeling that Volume 3 will be the search for Gamora. So, because there was a
actually,
this isn't really WandaVision, but there was a deleted scene from Endgame where she wandered off You actually saw her look at everyone after Iron Man died, and she buggered off.
I don't think it'll be the next film. This isn't WandaVision related at all. I think it'll be the Christmas special.
The holiday special.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird that they're doing that, isn't it?
Because you've got like Asgardians and stuff in. I think there's a lot of. Got all of the films coming up. They just seem so full. I mean, you look at Thor 4 More Thor. It's just so jam packed full of characters and if they don't introduce Beta Ray Bill at this point, when are they going to do it?
Absolutely. If not now, then when? Do you know what I mean? We should maybe shelf this for a topic because there's a whole slate. Absolutely. We could do that next week. There's a whole slate of Marvel films coming out. We could fucking go deep into each of them. But let's start with WandaVision. But yeah, it was great to see that logo again. It's very authentic. Each episode starts with that logo and ends with like the Marvel Studios style end kind of title sequence, as it were. Like they don't put their title sequences with the title card at the start of their films ever. They're always at the end, and there's always like a really cool animation. And it's always done in the same kind of way. That's in every episode. The Marvel Studios one.
It feels like. It feels like coming home after you've been away at uni for a year, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it feels like. So, do you want to start, or shall I start?
I mean, I'm loving it. Really, really loving it so far. Really liked episode 4, just the way it pulled everything else together, and you're looking like you're watching it and you're thinking. Okay, I was wondering so they've answered all my questions now. Every single question I've had is being answered, and we're not even halfway through the season.
Yeah, it was like what in one episode. It's like you want answers. If you're going to be that impatient about it, go on then. Here's everything. Here's what's going on. Like I have seen, and I can understand why somebody who watched this in a bubble contained of just there's this new Marvel show, WandaVision. Goes into it. The first 2 episodes are out. I can see why you'd be like, what the hell is this? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is this? Do you know what I mean?
Any of the marketing material, that's what it was.
Exactly. I'm not sure how anyone.
Lying to us.
I'm not sure that how anyone watched the trailer and didn't get that that's where it was going. So that's kind of what I mean. Like within a bubble, without seeing any of the marketing material, and without knowing too much about the MCU. So we're talking about a very finite group of people, like proper casual watchers that might have been like, what the hell is this? And I understand that, but
unfortunately they all have Twitter accounts. Every single one of them.
Opinions are like arseholes, aren't they? Everybody's got one. But I was very unnerved by it. The whole first episode, just because I know because it's kind of played. We're in full spoiler territory, by the way. If anybody's watching this, you haven't watched WandaVision. Yeah. We're not going to do non-spoilers and then spoilers. The no spoiler version would be it's a great piece of content and it's finally some more MCU content. So go and watch it. It's awesome. But it's played as a reveal in episode 4, where Monica Rambeau. Yeah. She is sort of thrown out of Westview, and she looks to the camera and she's like, oh my god, it's all Wanda. And if I hadn't read Avengers Disassembled, and if I hadn't read House of M, and I didn't know that the Scarlet Witch character can become consumed by grief and sort of likes to live in her own reality to cope with that, if I didn't know that might have been a bit more like, oh my god, it's Wanda. Do you know what I mean?
Anyone who knows anything about that character, anyone who from the comics, not the films, you've known where this has been going all along. I mean, House of M's been trending on Twitter every Friday like clockwork since this show started, because it's been so obvious. Especially, I'm not even sure how that was revealed in the context of just this show, because it's so obvious that she saw the beekeeper and then said no, and immediately did it all then. It's obvious that she was controlling it. So I'm not sure if they were trying to make that reveal.
There's a few red herrings. There's 1 or 2 red herrings, especially in those commercials that sort of play in between where there's references to Hydra, and before you know that it's FBI agent James Woo, that voice comes through like, Wanda, who's doing this to you? So there's a few red herrings where you might think, if you didn't know, you might think that Wanda isn't in control of this and somebody else behind is pulling the strings, and that may still be the case. With
some people
we
have been
don't.
saying, "Oh, Mephisto," and I haven't seen anything that leads that way myself.
I don't think there's much credence to the Mephisto theory, but I do think that one of these residents, potentially the one with the black hair from the first episode,
Yeah, it's her,
could
isn't it?
could
Agnes.
Agatha Harkness or Agatha Hargreaves, or she is the character in Avengers Disassembled that takes Wanda's children away from her, even though Wanda's children are kind of like constructs of her own reality, but also not, because in the comics they become two members of the Young Avengers. Tommy and Billy are like the speedster and the magic person on the Young Avengers team. So there's some deep cuts there. Whether they're going to go that way in the MCU and bring in the Young Avengers,
Kevin Feige came out at some point before he decided that Captain Marvel was the most powerful being. I think it might have been after he decided that, he came out and said that Wanda was the most powerful being in the MCU.
Yeah, well, she's certainly, because there hasn't been any kind of even hint towards her reality warping powers in the MCU so far. We know she's a telekinetic and she can do
move stuff with her mind in some weird accent, however she says that.
What?
Just I can move stuff with my mind, right, at the start of and that's the only explanation apart from Maria Hill saying that she's weird of her powers that we've actually got.
But we've got Doctor Strange in the MCU now, mate. So if we wanted to do a deeper dive into Wanda Maximoff's powers, it'll come from that film, because she's in that, as far as I know. She's been confirmed to appear in the second Doctor Strange film.
Yeah, and this is also. When this show was announced, Feige said, this is leading into Multiverse of Madness.
As much as the first couple of episodes, the sitcom only episodes, are played for laughs, and I do think they were quite funny. I was very. I'll talk a little bit more about Paul Bettany in a second, but he's never been on my radar as an actor, especially not as a comedic actor. Really? He kills me in the show, like in those first two episodes.
I already rated him, but yeah, he is really good in it, and that leads me on to my question. What sort of autonomy do you think Vision has? Do you think he's been controlled by Wanda? Do you think he's even there at all?
Well, the entire setup, as much as it's played for laughs, like I said, it is very unnerving. Like the whole show. If I could sum up the show, my feelings of the show, watching 4 episodes last night, it's anxiety. Like, it's just very unnerving, because I know that. It's sort of like, oh my god, poor Wanda. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was my entire feeling. But I think that Vision's autonomy, as you said, is the fucking jump scare that we got in episode 4, which really freaked me out because it was just scary, so jarring. I think that is what he looks like. Do you know what I mean? And because Wanda was very shaken up, having spoken about Pietro and remembering all, trying to be pulled back to reality, she kind of dropped her filter a little bit on Vision there and sort of showed him for what he really was. Do you know what I mean?
But then if that is what he really is, then he's not. Then she's doing everything. See, I almost think that he might not be there at all.
Really?
Yeah, and just like, because she knows that's what he looks like. But even then, he was talking and his eyes, he was still moving. He wasn't just like a stiff robot.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's more of a puppet kind of situation, because he is trying to unravel the mystery.
Yeah, but also when she was in labour and giving birth, Vision was still functioning. The rest of the town was going to shit, but Vision was still functioning. Or so we're led to believe. I mean, I don't know. It's all it's the show of speculation, isn't it, at the moment?
Exactly, and I love that about episode 4 as well, because all the speculation that's been going on the internet and all the speculation that you and me are doing now, the characters in the show were doing that
Yeah.
for the whole episode, and like that, there's a big whiteboard with all the questions that I had. What's with the hexagon? Is Vision alive? Is Wanda in control of all this? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Does
and
Wanda
think
know
they've
what she's doing? So,
they've done that on purpose, haven't they?
yeah,
It's just no. I think it's good. I'm really excited to see where it goes. I think
same.
we'll pick this up when it's finished because we're about the midway point now, aren't we?
Yeah, 6 episodes, 8 episodes,
9, I believe.
9. Cool.
I think so. I'm not 100%.
I like how they're going through the decades as well, and like the first one's like a proper 50s sitcom, and then the next one's kind of like Bewitched, and then the next one's meant to be the Brady Bunch, and then obviously we're getting the 80s and the 90s coming up, and I'm wondering if they'll do Friends, like being the quintessential sitcom of that
maybe,
of
but
that
then you look
decade.
like Seinfeld and Cheers were probably bigger than Friends.
Seinfeld, yeah, that's true. That's true, actually.
I think it looks like maybe that they're skipping ahead because I don't know if you've seen the teaser for next week's.
I have. Oh my god,
it looks very 2010s to me.
Yeah, Modern Family, Stranger Things. Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. So we'll see. I'm excited to see where it goes though. I've really enjoyed it so far. If anyone's not watching it, what you doing? Bugger off, go watch it.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to sort of like the last batch of episodes. It is like you said, like coming home or seeing a mate that you haven't seen for a while. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, again, Paul Bettany just was never on my radar, and he is now, as because I haven't seen him in much outside of Marvel. So yeah, no, he was really funny in a lot of his delivery and his comedic timing.
I mean the drunk episode that was great.
But yeah, when he gets all gummed up, and yeah, no, that was awesome performance from Paul Bettany. But no, yeah, it's like the first time the MCU has really had an element of horror to it. And I don't know whether I'm just alone in this, but I was very unnerved by the whole sitcom setup, even just how forced happy everything was, and Wanda's obviously there's my husband with his indestructible head, and it's like, oh, Wanda, do you know what I mean? Like,
is it though? I don't think you're alone, but I don't think I see it that much. I see it as more of the sitcom. It is unnerving. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's quite the horror element that you've been waiting for. Maybe we'll get that in Multiverse of Madness. I
think that moment that we were talking about, where she turns around and she sees dead Vision.
That was that left me a bit like I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to react to that.
His head's all fucked. Yeah, but to be fair, that unnerved me in Infinity War when he's just cast aside, and it just shows you tight on his blank eyes, fucked up head. Yeah. I had to be told that the Monica Rambeau character was the kid from Captain Marvel, because I've only seen Captain Marvel once and I didn't make that connection at all, that she was the kid from Captain Marvel.
I saw from headlines that she was going to be in it. This Captain Marvel character is going to be in this. Guess which Captain Marvel character is going to be in a Disney Netflix show? Disney Marvel
Goose the Cat! Goose the Cat!
Yeah, exactly. It's just you've seen the headlines.
Yeah.
What did you think of? It was almost like the Marvel Z list assembly in episode 4. You Jimmy Woo and Kat Dennings' character.
I have never enjoyed her as much as I enjoyed her in this. She was very, very much toned down to what she was in the Thor films, rather than being. No, sorry. I lost my train of thought there while I was speaking. That's a skill, isn't it? Yeah, it's like while being consistently the same character. That's what I was trying to say. She's very much the same character, but she's not comic relief for the sake of comic relief.
No, but also she's gone and got a doctorate, like fair play, mate.
Yep, absolutely, yeah.
I'm glad someone's been doing something since the last Thor film.
Yep, absolutely, yeah. Because that whole that whole cast of supporting characters was kind of absent by the end of the Thor trilogy, and I didn't miss them. I didn't miss them at all, but it was nice to see. I'm not gonna lie. It was nice to see them both, and same with James Woo, because
And
it's
I'm
been
glad she's getting work since Two Broke Girls was cancelled. Not that
no,
I like that show.
no, absolutely, and I like all the references to Sword, with obviously from the source material. It's Space Shield essentially, but
Yeah.
they've moved away. The acting director character, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He mentions that they're focused now more on, technology and AI and stuff like that, and that she is explicitly grounded, because her mom left some kind of will and testament that says she's not allowed to go on extraterrestrial missions. Will this, the fact that Sword exists, will it link into that Spider-Man Far From Home post-credit scene where you see Nick Fury in space with the Skrulls?
You see, to me that says that Sword's got to be something. I don't think that they will be related based on that. I think if anything, he'll be working with the Skrulls on something else, or
right.
Maybe it's a sort of man on the wall sort of situation.
Oh, I've lost you. Oh no!
Sorry, you're back.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think it might be some sort of man on the wall situation.
Yes.
If anything, I don't think it's related to Sword. I think everyone's like, oh, he's going to go set up Sword, and maybe we'd had hints that Sword was coming at that point, but
that's what I took away.
Pretty primitive compared to what we saw at the end of Far From Home.
Yeah, I mean, there's numerous things that this could tie into. With knowing what we know about the released slate, where we've got Secret Invasion, but we've also got Armor Wars as well, and the fact that they were talking about, like nanotechnology, and we work with various AIs and living weapons, that could tie into Rhodey's series going forward. It's just a very it's. I've been waiting for this little kick to reignite my spark in the MCU, as you know, because after Endgame, Black Widow, Eternals, what have I really got to look forward to here? And I wasn't sure of the quality.
I'm excited for those films, but not I've been excited for MCU films in the quite recent past.
But this is exactly what we needed. A mystery show, essentially, so that we could all talk about online and unpack. And it comes out week by week, which keeps the conversation fresh, as opposed to, like, if it comes out in a block, as like a Netflix show, you can binge it in an afternoon, and at the start of the afternoon you're like, what's going on? At the end of the afternoon you've got all your answers. Do you know what I mean? But the fact that it's staged week by week it's going to be a bit more of an experience for us all, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad that it wasn't all released at once though, because I just I'm getting that itch scratched, but I need to know what's happening. But obviously, from a marketing standpoint, because of how many questions, people are obviously going to go online and talk about it. It's obviously going to be on the front page of Reddit. It's obviously going to be trended on Twitter every week. So from that side, I get why they're doing it, but I just wish I could see it all now.
Where do you think it's going to go? What's your predictions for episode 5, 6, 7?
Okay, so what she's going to do is at the end she's going to snap her fingers and she's going to go lots more mutants.
You think that's going to be it?
I don't know.
Do you think?
I've been waiting to make that joke. So.
I don't think that this show is going to be a backdoor pilot for anything X-Men related. Having said that,
if any actual show, not film, I think it'd be this.
There are rumours that Evan Peters is in this, and rumours that he is Pietro Maximoff from the X-Men universe. And that was tweeted out by a guy who does the dubbing for the Spanish version of this.
Well, he's lost his job, hasn't he?
Yeah, big time. That's just a rumour, but okay. That's something I have heard. If you were going to bring Pietro back into this, why wouldn't you bring back the MCU version? Do you know what I mean?
Because Aaron Taylor-Johnson said, I'll do it if I only have to do one film. And he's too artsy to come back for a Disney Plus show, isn't he?
He's such a... Again, we started the show talking about...
Yeah, they'll do 2 fucking kick-ass films. Sorry.
they weren't that kick-ass, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean? He'll
right.
do Godzilla and be the worst part of that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then he'll go and marry someone 4 times his age. But that's totally his
That
decision, isn't it?
yeah. No, absolutely. I'm not going to attack his lifestyle choices, but
Oh, I
like,
am. It's all I live for.
the only thing I'll attack of him is, you're not too good for this, Aaron Taylor Johnson. You're not that caliber of actor. Do you know what I mean? Just
Paul Bettany's a step above him, in my opinion.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And Paul Bettany's well up for it. I don't know whether you've seen the interview where he's talking about how there was originally a post-credit scene of Endgame that showed Scarlet Witch unzipping a body bag with Vision's body in it. And Feige said that they're going to have to put that on the cutting room floor, and he was kind of gutted about it. And then he got called in, and he was like, well, when your boss calls you up and asks to speak to you and you know that you're dead in a film, it's probably not a good sign. So he walks in and he goes, look, it's been great. It's been great working with you. We've had a good run. And the Marvel execs are like, wait, are you quitting? And he goes, no, I thought you were letting me go. And then they pitched him WandaVision, and he was just like, yeah, I'm in. Do you know what I mean? So he's proper enthusiastic about it. Like
I love an actor that understands how important their role in something is to a lot of their fans. And
definitely,
all about it.
Especially someone who was quite a B-list character before all this. I mean, most of the people that are now pop culture staples because of the MCU were not that long ago, 2005, 2008, before Iron Man, were like proper B-list characters. Like, nobody knew who Thor was in the mainstream. You had to like proper read comics to know who that was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Scarlet Witch and Vision, proper C-list characters, and now they're like this like critically praised, mass watched TV show. Yeah, it's awesome. It's a weird time to be alive, man.
Film series of all time, sort of. Anyway, let's leave that for now. And
I just wanted to I just wanted to ask what you thought about that scene in the hospital in episode 4. But that was the last thing that I wanted to touch on, where it shows you.
It shows you. Otherwise, I would have brought that up myself.
It shows you people coming back from the snap.
What did I think of that? They did it 10 times better than Spider-Man.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it was really good. I think it was really impactful. I thought her acting was great as well. The actress who plays Monica Rambeau, I thought she's really good in it. And I liked the effects. I liked everything about it.
It was awesome. It set me off on the thought train as well, that this is all still Thanos' fault. Do you know what I mean? This show is living with the fallout of Thanos. Even though he's dead and gone, he is still the antagonist of this series because he killed Vision.
He's living rent-free in the minds of the libs, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if we will see the return from the snap from Wanda's perspective at any point, because people forget that she was dusted. She was one of the Avengers in Infinity War that got snapped away. Will we come back to that in this show and see that?
I think there's a good chance. And if not her materialising back, I think you'll see further down the line how she got to Westview and how she started to set things up, and what that sort of looked like from her point of view. Because, I mean, we've seen it from every other point of view at this point, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've seen anyway. If you're
great show. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it.
So we've been going for a bit now. So I think it'd be nice to just cap it off. What are you? Is there anything that you're reading that you want to talk about at the moment?
So this was a section that I would like to call Azitgewin, man.
Azitgewin.
Yeah. Azitgewin, and that is basically what a black country man says to another black country man when they want to find out Azitgewin and what they've been up to.
Yeah.
So I recently did a 100% run on Crash Bandicoot 4. And yeah, trust me that there is a lot to do in that game, which has been a real point of contention with a lot of reviewers. But I also find that a lot of the people that are complaining that the game's tedious shotgunned everything that game had to offer in a week for the sake of getting a video out. right?
Yes.
So I have had a much better time completing the fucking thing, having taken my time with it. Do you know what I mean?
That's what it is to me. Everyone's like, oh yes, it's. I mean, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Dunkey, whose video I watched, or someone else's. No, I don't think it was Dunkey. It was Kadikrist actually. How he took 70 hours. If you just want to do the main game, not worry about any collectibles, you can go for it in a couple of hours. If you want to get everything, it'll take you about 70. But I'm just thinking, the allure to me for Crash games has always been, yeah, I can play the main game. It's gonna be difficult. I'm not the best at games. In fact, I'm really, really bad at games.
I've had to get you quite a fair few gems over the years, Jordan.
Yeah, you are, but I can get them myself now. I finished on my Switch. I finished Crash 3 by myself. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Not 100%, obviously.
I retract them.
Yeah, you should.
This is a backwards clap.
I beat all the levels, mate.
Well done, Jordan. I am proud of you. I am proud of you.
I'll jump on and then I'll grab a couple of gems and then I'll jump off again. And for me, that's always been why I love Crash games. There's always something for me to do. I don't want to sit there in a week and spend 70 hours getting everything. I want a game
not in 1 week.
that I can go back to for years and enjoy and still have something to do.
That's exactly what I've done. It's not gonna be years for me, but it's been longer than a lot of these YouTubers that are complaining incessantly that it's tedious and repetitive. Yes, there's a lot of the same content that you've got to do. Is the game a bit bloated? Absolutely, it is. But if you take it in chunks, and you play it on and off again for a couple of days, and then give it a break, play something else. Like I played through the main game and did a little bit of completion and then completely platinum Ghost of Tsushima, then went back to Crash for a bit and then finished about half of The Last of Us 2 and then went back to Crash for a bit. And then I'm playing through Cyberpunk and Crash again at the moment and I've just now finished it. And I had a great time. The level design is amazing. The graphics are amazing. The box placement, a lot of people are complaining about it, but I think it's so devilish. It's so torturous.
I haven't played it, but I've seen some video. I know. Oh, some of them are nasty.
It's borderline sadistic, and it's I'm in so much pain, and I love it. Do you know what I mean?
But the thing for me is, I'll play a Crash game. I'll try and get all the boxes. If I get to the end and I haven't got all the boxes, I go, all right, and get to the next level. Still, it doesn't stop me from carrying on with the game or anything like that.
No, absolutely, and I don't think it sells the game short, and. It's a shame that Kadikrist took that standpoint because he's kind of like he's like the PS1 guy, isn't he? I love Kadikrist, do you know what I mean? And he's completely entitled to his opinion, but I think with this revival and the continued longevity of Crash Bandicoot for a Crash Bandicoot 5 and whatever and other games that we want, we needed a strong positive reaction to this. Do you know what I mean? Like it's, but hopefully they tone it down without becoming overly simplistic. I think Toys for Bob knew very much that as much as the cartoony graphics will appeal to kids, the main people that are going to be buying this are like people my age who are nostalgic for the old games, so they made it fucking hard. Do you know what I mean? And I liked it. I liked the challenge of it. The only thing that I haven't done, I'm at 103%. There's 106 total percent. The only thing I haven't done is gone for all the platinum relics, and that's the thing that's going to take me years.
You can do it, mate. I believe in you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. What have you been up to, mate?
I started reading quite a bit of manga recently.
Yes.
I did. You know me. I used to like my comics, but I stopped reading comics because it's so. I always found it just insufferable to try and figure out which ones to read next.
Modern comics aren't the best, mate. I go back and I read comics from my heyday of like 2005, where I think Marvel Universe was the best for me.
Buying complete volumes and stuff like that. But these two are honestly two of the best pieces of media I have ever set my eyes on.
So what you got there?
So I want to talk about Spy Family first.
Go
on. Honestly, the premise, it's a bit. You probably if I said it, it'd sound crap because I am god awful at explaining these sorts of things. But basically, there's a really good spy in a made-up nation, and there's a really good assassin from another nation. And as part of the spy's mission, he needs to fabricate a family, get this kid into a school, and then become close with one of the kid's parents. and have off with him or whatever it is. He doesn't know that the mom's an assassin. The mom doesn't know that he's a spy. But the kid that they've adopted's psychic, so she knows everything. And it's really good. It's really,
and they're
really
about
good.
to find out that being a spy isn't all it's cracked up to be.
It's a bit Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but honestly, I'm really enjoying it. I'm on the second book at the moment, and there's 3 out in English at the moment. Obviously, they take a bit to translate, but
Very
I
nice.
recommend it to anyone. And this Chainsaw Man, I will probably lend this to you at some point because I think you're really gonna like this.
Yeah, that looks sick. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's in a world where there's demons and there's people and just running through.
And
there's
chainsaws and there's men and there's chainsaw men.
And let me find a picture. And there's this guy, right, and he's got this cute, adorable.
Don't show too much because of copyright.
Little dog. You see a little dog?
Aww,
Yeah.
chainsaw dog.
Part chainsaw dog, and basically he's dying.
Aww.
This guy is homeless, and he's so homeless that like.
Wait, no, he's dying or the dog's dying.
He's dying, and
the dog's
in a dumpster dying. And
but the dog's okay.
Yeah, the dog's fine.
Oh, thank God.
And instead of letting him die, the dog, it's a demon. It becomes part of him. So then this person can now turn into the titular Chainsaw Man.
Very nice.
And that's about where we're at with the first book. It was a hit. So the second one's quite hard to find at the moment, but I'm really looking forward to it. But I just wanted to give it a bit of a shout out because I think it's bloody brilliant.
I think I'm gonna Amazon that up. I think.
I really would.
It's a shame. It's a shame. It's not called the Dog Face Boy. I think that would be a better title. Do you know what I mean?
The man with a dog in his chest, who is also part chainsaw.
Yeah.
I mean, that's typically the way that the Japanese name their review, isn't it? So.
Dog Face Boy, the chainsaw begins.
He's scrolling down like Funimation or something like that. That time I was reincarnated as a slime. You could have made that shorter. Great show, but that time I was reincarnated as a slime. It's just like. And then you look at the Japanese version of it, it's like just a page of letters and kanji and stuff like that.
Absolutely. The Japanese don't care about spoilers either. Like, I watch a lot of Digimon.
Oh, no, you gotta skip those anime openings, mate.
No, trust me, and the next time's on. There's one episode of the 3rd season, which is like the fan favourites, Digimon Tamers, and the English dub episode is called Lionheart, which doesn't give much away, and the Japanese version of the same episode is called The Brave Warrior Leomon Dies.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I watched about 50 or so episodes of the anime Fairy Tale before I gave it up because I just got so bored of it.
Right.
But I swear to God, right, at the start of a new arc, they'd have a new anime opening, which would basically detail everything that's going to happen in that arc, just in like a 2-minute section with music put to it. And
it's a cultural thing.
It is.
The Japanese don't care so much about what's going to happen as long as it's more about how it unfolds. Do you know what I mean? Like it's almost like those soap opera magazines that you see in supermarkets that says like Phil Mitchell kills whoever. Do you know what I mean? Just like spoilers on the front page, and it's like if you
and then you got people reading, oh my God, I can't believe he's going to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, and then you watch it. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of the equivalent of. Do you know, like it's all Wanda's fault, just like on the front page of like Empire magazine, like Han Solo dies.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
Yeah.
Han Solo kills Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Yep. Right, anything else that you wanna, how's it going?
Yeah, I've been playing Pokemon Go again because I played that the week it came out because that was a magical time.
Oh God, I played it for months. I played it for absolutely months. I was addicted to that game.
Yeah, we played it together and we went out on a few walks to the Priory and it just sort of brought everyone together. There's only been 2 moments in my entire life where that's happened. Three moments where it sort of I felt this sense of like unity on the planet just with my fellow man. And it was the week the first Avengers came out in 2012. That was a event where I felt really connected to a bigger community outside of my friends group. The week that Pokemon Go came out, as we've just spoken about, and the last World Cup where it was coming home. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, when it was coming
yeah.
home,
So,
I think for me, I've got to say the last Harry Potter film.
the very last one.
Yeah.
I'm not huge on Harry Potter, so I wasn't as emotionally invested. And until I saw Logan, I didn't realize what the Harry Potter fans were talking about. And then once when I saw Logan, and I had the feeling of, oh God, my childhood's truly over.
Yeah, I mean that was generally what it was for me. That was like the mark of the end of my childhood. I would go to the cinema every year or every other year whenever they decided to release one of these, and I'd always watch them with my stepdad Steve, and then like I watched the last one and I was just like, oh well, that ain't gonna happen anymore, is it?
Yeah, but I kind of was. I think that. I'm tangenting, but I don't think Harry Potter's. Yeah. I don't think Harry Potter's got the best ending. To be honest with you, I think I think the trip is much better than the destination with Harry Potter. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's built up for so long over so many films and books, and then it kind of rushes to a conclusion. Do you know what I mean? And you don't get to see much of the aftermath, at least in the films. I don't know. I can't speak for the books. You don't get to see much of the aftermath of what happens at the end of Harry Potter. It just flashes forward, and Harry's got his kids, and they're on the train to Hogwarts. It kind of rushes to a conclusion. Do you know what I mean?
I quite like the Battle of Hogwarts.
I do too, but like
the end of the film. Oh yeah, it's crap.
Yeah. They're just like the actual conclusion. I would have liked to have stayed in the current time and seen the fallout. Do you know what I mean? Not jump forward 20 years, but jump forward 5 years. Do an Avengers Endgame 5 years later. But no, I played Pokemon Go when it first came out, but I got bored of it very quickly, and I've recently got back into it because I'm trying to get myself out of the house and do a little bit more exercise in this lockdown that we're still currently in, unfortunately, in the UK. And I'm surprised now of how much it's like, oh my God, this is actually a game now. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I haven't gone back to it since about a year after, but I'm glad to hear that you're having fun with that.
There's side missions and there's raid parties that you can join to get legendaries. There's Team Rocket, who you'll be walking around and you'll find a Pokestop, and a Pokestop will be taken over by Team Rocket, and you've got to fight Team Rocket, and then you beat a various amount of grunts in a row, and then you have to fight the Team Rocket leaders. And Jesse and James are there at the moment because they're doing like a Gen 1 celebration event. Do you know what I mean? So the Meowth balloon will show up every now and then. And there's way more Pokemon in it from outside of Gen 1, and it's just good. It's an actual game now. It's not just a gimmick. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. I'm very happy with it, and it's getting me out of the house. So
good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm doing a bit more exercise myself, but I think we're going to have to leave. We've been going for a long time, and I need to spend at least some time with my family before.
No, yeah, absolutely. Same here. So, thank you all very much for listening. All three of you, probably, for this first episode.
And none of them are going to make it this far. In fact, hello to myself when I'm editing this, and hello to myself when I'm listening to it afterwards as well.
I won't be listening back to this, do you know what I mean? I'll trust you to do the edit, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
can't stand the sound of my own voice. But I want you to stand the sound of my own voice. So please, like I said earlier, subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm sure that Jord is going to put us up on all sorts of podcasting apps. So leave us a rating and a subscription would really help, because we do want to do this a little bit more often. And we're gonna do it anyway. But it would be nice if people were listening to us as well. So all your feedback is appreciated. Let
us know what parts did you like, didn't you like, and we'll sort of mould it around what people want to hear. Obviously, we're still gonna just be doing our thing really and just talking as we do. But
I mean, we might get some sort of social media platforms eventually if this takes off. But at the moment, it's going to be mainly YouTube. So a subscription and a comment and a like on YouTube goes so far. So we'd really appreciate that.
Yeah,
So
I have a Twitter, which is there. I'll put it there somewhere. So
I
you can just do that at the moment. I can point anywhere and be like, okay, and then it's just me in the future who's got to deal with it. But I'll put that on screen.
If you want to find me on any social media, you can find me on Instagram at @AtakaOfficial, but that is the only social media platform I want followers on. Yeah, and if you see me in real life, please leave me alone. So, right, nice one.
Mate, it's been a pleasure.
Right, absolutely.
I'm going to hit that button. That says
Right.
stop.
I'll see you
next
later.
time, mate. Yeah.
See you later. All right, a bit, guys.
Ta-da.